This is your need to know. This is your need to know.
All right, let's unpack this. You've sent us some seriously cool excerpts all about Batman tech.
Lots from a book called Batman Science, the real-world science behind Batman's gear.
Yeah. Looks like you want to know how much of Batman's arsenal is actually based in reality.
Definitely.
Don't worry, you won't need a PhD in engineering to follow along.
Not at all.
We're going to break down the science behind everything
From the Batsuit to the Batmobile.
and highlight some surprising real-world connections.
It's fascinating. This deep dive shows that the line between science fiction and reality might be blurrier than we think.
Right.
Batman's tech often takes inspiration from actual science and even emerging technologies.
Like those creators were peering into the future.
Exactly.
I mean, take the Batsuit.
Uh-huh.
This thing has to be bulletproof, fire-resistant, and flexible enough for all those crazy moves.
Oh, yeah.
How does that even work?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Is it all movie magic?
And well, a fully functional Batsuit might still be science fiction, but many of the materials and concepts it uses actually exist.
No way.
Yeah. The book talks about Nomex.
No mix.
It's a heat and flame-resistant material.
Oh, wow.
Invented in the 1960s.
Okay.
Made of these super strong fibers that swell when exposed to heat.
Seriously.
Yeah. Creating a protective barrier.
So wait, are you telling me firefighters are basically wearing a version of the Batsuit?
Well, maybe not the full cowl and cape,
Uh-huh.
but you get the idea.
That's amazing.
Nomex is used a lot in firefighters' gear
Makes sense.
and even race car drivers' suits
Oh, right.
because of how well it protects against intense heat.
It's incredible stuff.
And it's not just about fire resistance.
Sure.
The Batsuit needs to be insanely durable, too.
Yeah.
That's where Kevlar comes in.
Oh, yeah, Kevlar. That's the stuff that's 5 times stronger than steel, right?
That's it.
Wow.
You'll find it in bulletproof vests.
It's mind-blowing how they weave those fibers into fabric strong enough to stop bullets.
Exactly. The book explains how it's used in everything from vests to aircraft bodies.
Really? Aircraft bodies.
Yep. Because it can be woven into fabric that's both strong and lightweight.
Oh, that makes sense.
Perfect for a suit that allows for protection and agility.
Just what you'd need for all those acrobatic moves.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense for the suit itself, but what about the cape?
The cape.
Surely that billowing thing can't be anything more than dramatic flair, right?
You might be surprised.
Really?
The book describes it as being designed for gliding, much like a hang glider.
No way.
Uses the principles of aerodynamics to generate lift.
So that's how Batman makes those dramatic swoops down on criminals.
Exactly. Think of wingsuit flyers.
Wingsuit flyers.
They're essentially real-life Batmen jumping from extreme heights and gliding through the air.
Now I'm picturing myself leaping off rooftops.
Huh.
But seriously, that's some incredible tech.
It is. And that's just the Batsuit. Wait until we get to the gadgets in that legendary utility belt.
Oh man, the utility belt.
That's a whole other deep dive on its own.
I bet.
It's packed with gadgets.
Yeah.
That, at first glance, seems straight out of a comic book fantasy.
Right.
But as Batman Science points out,
Yeah.
a lot of those tools actually have real-world counterparts
Okay.
or draw inspiration
Yeah.
from existing technologies.
You've got me hooked.
Okay.
Give me some examples.
All right.
What about those iconic batarangs?
Ah, yes, the batarangs.
Are those just fancy boomerangs, or is there more to them?
Well, they're often shown as these returning weapons,
Right.
which is definitely more on the fictional side.
Yeah.
But the book also highlights their function as shuriken,
Shuriken.
or throwing stars.
Yeah.
Those have a long history
I see.
in martial arts, particularly in Japan,
Okay.
used for both offensive and defensive purposes.
So Batman's got some ninja skills in his arsenal, too.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And what about that trusty grapnel gun?
Oh, yeah, the grapnel gun.
Batman's version might be impossibly compact,
Right.
but the idea isn't totally out there.
Really?
The U.S. Army actually uses a tactical pneumatic launch system
Wow.
that fires a grappling hook and line.
No way.
It can reach up to 120 feet,
That's impressive.
and they use it for scaling walls and obstacles.
So just like how Batman navigates the rooftops of Gotham?
Exactly.
Now, I know Batman has a strict no-guns policy,
Of course.
but what about those non-lethal weapons he uses?
Uh-huh.
Like, how realistic are those tranquilizer darts?
Those are surprisingly grounded in reality.
Seriously?
while they're mainly used for capturing wild animals.
Yeah.
The science behind them is pretty sophisticated.
Oh, wow.
Tranquilizer darts utilize various drugs
Okay.
to sedate, anesthetize, or paralyze a target.
So it's not just one type of drug.
Right.
Interesting.
And the dosage has to be carefully calculated
I can imagine.
based on the animal's weight
Makes sense.
and even its level of excitement.
Wow. That's a lot to consider.
Imagine trying to hit a moving target with one of those.
I bet it takes incredible skill and precision.
It definitely does.
It's not as easy as it looks in the movies, that's for sure.
Not at all.
But speaking of things that seem impossible, can we talk about the Batmobile?
Of course, the Batmobile.
I mean, who hasn't dreamed of cruising around in that beast of a car?
It's iconic.
Right.
And Batman Science dives into how it's not just about raw power.
Okay.
It's loaded with cutting-edge technology,
Oh, I bet.
some of which might be closer to reality than you think.
Like what?
What?
Does it really have a self-destruct feature like we see in the movies?
Maybe not in the exact same way,
Okay.
but the concept itself isn't pure science fiction.
Really?
DARPA, the agency that develops emerging technologies for the U.S. military,
I've heard of them.
is actually researching self-destructing electronics.
What?
Imagine a world where your phone could vanish without a trace,
That's crazy.
dissolving on command.
But are they serious?
It sounds crazy,
Yeah.
but they're working on making it a reality.
That's mind-blowing.
But what about those insane jumps the Batmobile makes?
Oh, yeah.
Is that even remotely possible in the real world?
That's what I want to know.
Believe it or not, jumping cars are becoming a reality.
No way.
Though maybe not to the same extent as the Batmobile.
Oh, okay.
There's this awesome robotic car called the Sand Flea
Sand flea.
that can jump up to 30 feet in the air without a ramp,
Wow.
using a CO2-powered piston.
Seriously.
The U.S. Army is even testing it out for
Whoa.
potential use in missions.
It's like something straight out of a video game.
It is pretty amazing.
Wow. So even the most outrageous aspects of the Batmobile have some basis in reality.
Yeah, it seems that way.
It makes you wonder what other seemingly impossible technologies might be just around the corner.
Absolutely.
This is your need to know. This is your need to know. This is your need to know. This is your need to know.
But let's not forget about Batman's aerial arsenal.
Oh, yes. The Batplane and Batcopter.
They always seem to defy physics
That's pretty impressive.
with their maneuverability and speed.
Well, like many real-world aircraft,
Ah,
the Batplane's design often takes inspiration from nature.
nature.
Engineers have long studied bird flight
Oh, that makes sense.
to understand the principles of aerodynamics.
Lift, drag, thrust.
Exactly.
All those forces that govern how objects move through the air.
It's all about aerodynamics.
So Batman's basically flying around in a giant high-tech bird.
In a way, yes.
Huh.
And the Batplane's often depicted as a supersonic jet.
Capable of breaking the sound barrier.
Exactly.
While we don't have bat-shaped supersonic jets.
Not yet.
Aha.
There are plenty of incredible aircraft out there,
That's true.
pushing the boundaries of speed and agility.
That's amazing.
It seems like Batman's creators really did their research,
They sure did.
even if they took some creative liberties.
But you know, there's one gadget we haven't touched on yet that I'm really curious about.
Oh, what's that?
The bat signal.
Ah, yes, the iconic bat signal.
I mean, is there really anything in the real world that can project a giant bat symbol onto the clouds?
It might seem far-fetched,
It does.
but when you break it down, the bat signal is essentially a powerful searchlight.
Right?
And those definitely exist in the real world.
I guess so.
Think about the Tribune light.
The Tribune light?
Those twin beams of light that illuminate the New York City skyline.
Oh, yeah.
Each year on the anniversary of 9/11.
Yeah,
Those can be seen for miles.
that's a great point.
It's about using light as a form of communication.
a signal that calls for help
Exactly.
or announces something important.
It's powerful imagery,
Yeah,
both in the comics and in real life.
absolutely.
But while the bat signal might be more about symbolism,
Okay.
there are other gadgets in Batman's arsenal
Really?
that have even more direct real-world applications.
Oh, like what?
I'm dying to know.
Wait, I'm dying to know.
Remember that periscope Batman uses.
The periscope.
Yeah, to peek around corners or over walls.
Oh, right.
It's like something straight out of a submarine, right?
Yeah. I always thought that was a pretty clever gadget.
It is, and it's totally rooted in real-world technology.
How so?
Periscopes use mirrors to reflect light,
Okay.
allowing you to see what's hidden from view.
So simple, yet so effective.
Exactly.
What else is hiding in that utility belt?
Okay, this one might not be as flashy as a batarang,
Okay.
but the book also mentions a portable fingerprint analysis kit.
A fingerprint analysis kit.
Batman uses it to dust for prints at crime scenes.
Just like a real detective.
Exactly.
So Batman's a CSI buff, too.
Right.
Never thought about that side of him.
And it highlights how crucial fingerprint analysis is in real-world crime solving.
Makes sense.
The book explains how each person has a unique pattern of ridges and whorls on their fingertips.
I've heard of that.
And these patterns can be used to identify individuals.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. Police detectives use all sorts of techniques to lift and analyze fingerprints.
Oh, wow.
And they have access to huge databases to help them catch criminals.
That's fascinating. It's like a whole other world of science behind something we often take for granted.
Absolutely.
But what happens when Batman needs to go underwater?
Good question.
Surely he can't hold his breath forever.
Of course not.
So what does he use?
For his underwater missions, Batman relies on a rebreather.
A rebreather? What's that?
It's this incredible device that allows divers to breathe their own air over and over again.
How is that even possible?
It's pretty cool. Batman's science goes into how a chemical scrubber removes carbon dioxide from the exhaled breath,
Okay.
and fresh oxygen is added from a small tank.
So it recycles your breath.
Exactly.
That sounds pretty high tech.
It is. Rebreathers have some serious advantages over traditional scuba gear.
Like what?
Well, for one, they're much quieter.
Because they don't release bubbles.
Right.
Makes sense.
And they're more efficient with oxygen use.
Oh, wow.
Perfect for stealthy underwater operations, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
So even Batman's underwater adventures are grounded in some pretty cool real-world tech.
They are. But I can't let you go without talking more about the Batmobile.
All right, the Batmobile. What else do you want to know?
We've covered its speed and jumping ability.
All right.
What about its armor?
Yes, the armor.
That thing seems practically indestructible.
You're right. It takes some serious engineering to build a car that can withstand what the Batmobile goes through.
No kidding.
While we might not have a car that can take on a tank yet,
Not yet.
there are real-world vehicles that utilize similar protective technologies.
Like what?
Think about armored trucks in military vehicles.
Okay.
They use bulletproof, glass, ceramic plates,
Wow.
and even Kevlar fabric
Oh, wow.
to protect their occupants from gunfire and explosions.
It's incredible how those materials can withstand such force.
It is. These materials are designed to withstand incredible forces.
And it seems like they're always coming up with something even more advanced.
Absolutely.
So it's not just Hollywood magic. Those kinds of defenses actually exist.
They do. And it's not just about protecting the people inside.
Right.
Remember, the Batmobile also has those bulletproof tires.
Yeah, those always seemed a bit over the top to me.
I get it.
How can a tire even be bulletproof?
There are a couple of ways to achieve that.
Really?
The book explains how some run-flat tires have reinforced sidewalls that allow them to keep rolling even after a puncture.
So you can keep driving even with a flat.
Exactly.
Amazing.
And then there are these auxiliary supported tires.
Auxiliary supported tires.
Basically have a tire inside a tire.
A tire inside a tire.
Yeah, so if the outer tire gets blown out, the inner ring can still support the weight of the vehicle.
Wow, I never knew that. It seems like every detail of the Batmobile has been carefully considered and engineered for maximum performance and protection.
Absolutely. But there's one more aspect of the Batmobile we haven't touched on that I find really intriguing.
Okay, what's that?
The driver interface.
The driver interface.
Yeah, the Batmobile is often depicted as having voice activation and even self-driving capabilities.
Wait a minute, are you saying those features could actually exist in real-life cars someday?
It's definitely within the realm of possibility.
Really?
Think about it. Voice recognition technology is already integrated into many modern vehicles,
That's true.
allowing drivers to control various functions hands-free.
Yeah,
And self-driving cars are no longer just a futuristic fantasy.
right.
Companies are investing heavily in autonomous driving technology.
I've heard about that.
And we're seeing more and more self-driving features appearing on the market.
So maybe one day we'll all be cruising around in our own Batmobiles.
Maybe so. But for now, let's appreciate how those seemingly fantastical elements in Batman's world actually foreshadow real-world advancements.
That's a great point. It's a reminder that innovation often starts with imagination.
Absolutely.
So after this deep dive into Batman's world, what does this all mean? Is the Caped Crusader closer to reality than we might think?
I think so. What we've uncovered today is that while some of Batman's tech might still be in the realm of fantasy, a surprising amount of it is rooted in real-world science and engineering. And who knows, maybe some of those more outlandish gadgets, like the Batmobile's self-destruct feature or the Batplane's supersonic speed, will become commonplace someday.
That's a pretty exciting thought. It makes you wonder what amazing innovations are just around the corner. Maybe one of our listeners will be the one to invent the next Bat gadget.
That's the beauty of it. Innovation can come from anywhere. So if you could design a piece of bat tech, what would it be and what real-world technology would you use to build it? Let your imagination run wild. Maybe your idea will be the next big breakthrough.
This is your need to know. Where have all the good men gone? And where are all the gods? Where's the streetwise Hercules to fight the rising odds? Isn't there a white knight upon the fiery steed? Late at night I toss and I turn and I dream of what I need. I need a hero, and holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong, he's gotta be fast, and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero, I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. He's gotta be sure and he's gotta be soon, and he's gotta be larger than life, larger than life. Somewhere after midnight, in my wildest fantasy, mountains meet the heavens above, out where the lightning splits the sea. I could swear there is someone somewhere watching me. Through the wind and the chill and the rain and the storm and the flood, the fear is approach like a fire in my blood. In my blood, like a fire in my blood. Fire in my blood. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast. And he's gotta be fresh from the fire. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. He's gotta be sure and it's gotta be soon, and he's gotta be larger than life. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast, and he's gotta be fresh from the fire. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. He's gotta be sure and he's gotta be soon, and he's gotta be larger than life. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night.